Nick Mercs is a Twitch streamer with 6.7 million followers, so he's a pretty big dude as far as streamers go, pretty huge audience, and he's been doing online stuff for more than 10 years at this point, with a long track record of popularity in either Fortnite or Warzone. Whatever game is really popular at the time, he's probably playing it and doing pretty well, getting views off of that. He's got a ton of big sponsorships with stuff like Corsair, and he's even signed to FaZe Clan at the moment.
Facts. It's a good observation.
So clearly the dude has a lot going for him and has a pretty big brand based on his personality and content. But recently he got into some controversy with the LGBT community, and it's caused one of the bigger explosions we've seen in the gaming scene in quite some time. Well, it all started with this tweet. Anti-LGBT protesters attack pro-LGBT demonstrators outside of a Glendale, California school board meeting. The school board is voting on recognizing June as Pride Month. Then we have this quote tweet from MLG Puckett saying, "This happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life." And this is all like non-controversial. Obviously, someone supporting the LGBT community is pretty well regarded in the modern political landscape, modern political climate. That's pretty much, what you would expect almost the average e-celebrity to do, right? It seems like every day we have a new e-celebrity talking about these social issues, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does just go to show like this is very much at the forefront of our culture right now. But then we have this tweet from Nick, which reads, "They should leave little children alone. That's the real issue." And this one tweet caused a whole series of dominoes to topple over, which led to basically everyone under the sun talking about this and giving their take. Now, right off the bat, this comment from Nick can be interpreted in a few ways. On its face, you could say, oh, well, these people are fighting outside of a school board meeting, maybe it's near a school, so he's just frustrated with the fact people are brawling outside of something that's meant for educational purposes for kids, and that may, I don't know, scare the kids or disturb them. On the other hand, they're obviously fighting over a vote that's happening as for Pride Month being recognized in schools during the month of June, which could also be what he's referencing, so maybe he's not in favor of that happening. Then on the other hand, one big contention these days is trans rights, particularly the debate over minors getting access to hormones. A lot of people on the left seem to think that giving hormones to kids is a good idea, even kids as young as 10 years old. But the right and a lot more moderate liberals believe that this is horrible and you should not give hormones to someone who, in other aspects of society, we would say cannot fully consent. Then another meaning that many took from it is that Nick is implying that gay people are child groomers, which would obviously be taken in a very negative way if you have that meaning from it, right? The guy he initially responded to seemed to take it that way even. Who is this they, and what terrible act is everyone afraid of? I think/hope the goal of most of them is to reduce child suicide. This is done through acceptance and removing the stigma of feeling/being different. As a dad, I'm struggling to see the harm. Gay doesn't equal pedo. And the outrage over Nick's tweet continued in tweet after tweet as everyone either supported him and wanted to argue with those who disagreed, or did not support him and wanted to criticize him and call him a bad person for this tweet, say he doesn't support LGBT people, etc. And of course, this is expected considering how contentious the culture war has gotten and how passionate both sides are. I would personally say it's probably a bad idea to give kids hormones, but once they're an adult, I don't really care what they want to do with their own body. But the idea of a kid too young to even comprehend their own gender and sexuality being prescribed hormones by a doctor just rubs me the wrong way, really. Seems kind of effed up, brah, to be completely honest with you. But regardless of the controversy, I expected it to end here, really. I mean, it is just one tweet after all. But in the current year, of course, it couldn't. The cancellation had to commence as people called for Nick to lose sponsorships and opportunities, and people continued being just completely fucking ass mad in the replies for hours and hours on end. So for the unaware, Nick Mercs had an operator class in Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone is a part of DLC. So basically, if you're a player and you're a fan of Nick Mercs, you could purchase his class, and I assume he would be paid as a result of those purchases. I don't know what the payment agreement is exactly, but obviously he was paid a certain amount of money for that, right? Well, Call of Duty decided to walk that back. Some people noticed that it looked like Nick's bundle had been removed from the store, and many awaited a comment from Activision. Well, then the official COD account posted this: "Due to recent events, we've removed the Nick Mercs operator bundle from the store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community." I honestly forgot that it was Pride Month, so obviously this is going to be a more contentious issue at this time of year, right? And this caused a lot of controversy amongst those who support Nick, like Dr. Disrespect. He personally said that he would be uninstalling Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 as a result of this.
At Call of Duty, Activision made the decision to pull Nick Mercs' skin and bundle off the game. What we got to do is uninstall the game.
And then Hassan responded to that, and his move was to make fun of Dr. Disrespect for his past controversy where he had been unfaithful to his wife. I personally would probably talk about Hassan's trip to a brothel in Germany, but yeah, that's besides the point, I guess.
Yes, he's more loyal to Nick Mercs having his skin than his own wife. I know. Yes, he's more loyal to that. I mean, he's also more loyal to Shungite, really. Bro, up to Shungite. You know what I mean? Just Add a little bit more shungite to that diet. Put it around La Casa. Okay, little pyramids, that sort of thing.
This has then sparked a boycott, and then people began making fun of that boycott. But let's be real. Is this a real boycott that's going to actually go anywhere? No, of course not. It's an internet boycott. Because the average Call of Duty player does not actually care about Nick Mercs in the same way they don't care about the trans woke agenda or whatever. What they actually care about is having fun in the game, and as long as that happens, they're going to keep playing it, frankly. So yeah, COD is fine. Millions of people are not going to boycott it and not play it. At the end of the day, this decision from Activision or whoever decided to drop Nick is pretty disappointing, though. I will say, I personally find it super lame. I think it's silly to stop affiliating with a dude over one fucking tweet, especially given the tweet wasn't even like directly implying that, you know, gay people are pedophiles or something, or he wasn't going on some long anti-LGBT rant and doing like a new political rhetoric show on the regular right. He's just made one tweet. If that had been the case, I would understand it from a business perspective. As it stands currently, it's not like they were going to lose any money because this one dude tweeted a reply. They got a bunch of people's panties in a bunch. Either they totally miscalculated the amount of backlash they would get for this decision, or someone at the company took huge offense to what Nick said and they dropped him for that reason. Mercs himself has been pretty quiet about it. He did make this tweet saying, "Friends are created in good times, but families are built through adversity. Appreciate all of you that have my back. Understand my position as a new father and recognize the love I have for all. Ain't no hate in this heart, P&L." And he got a ton of support for this, over 200,000 likes, and a ton of people in the replies like Keemstar, Leon Lush, the official Rumble account, Def Noodles, surprisingly, but I guess I'll take it, FaZe Rain, Chloe Cole, the Hodge twins, and many, many more came out in support saying that he had done the right thing and that there was nothing wrong with what he said, basically. Aside from the doc himself, we also saw support from Tim the Tatman, who is also a pretty huge Twitch streamer. From what I understand, he's good pals with Nick, and he ended up asking Activision to remove his DLC from the game, which they did in fact carry out. He also made the following statement on stream, basically saying that he knows Nick isn't hateful, and he believes he wasn't trying to say anything that would, you know, really get people riled up with his statements.
I love Nick. I talked to him for about 30 minutes last night. I know him, bro, and I truly do not think he meant to hurt anyone with what he said.
A lot of his fans were very happy to see this, but on the other hand, you had leftists clowning on him on Twitter. Then Nick himself made a very brief statement clarifying what he meant by that initial tweet. It's a few minutes long, but it has some important context and explanation there for anyone curious about it, so I'm just going to play it in full, but feel free to skip to the end if you don't want to see the whole thing.
I didn't like what I was seeing, man. Okay, I saw parents brawling in front of a fucking school with kids. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys can understand how that video was pissing people off. It pissed me off. Okay. Now, I mean, full transparency. You know, how do I put this? I'm gonna be very, very careful here. I mean, listen, my wife and I just had a baby, brand new father. You know, we seeing these kinds of videos. It's sad. You know, but her and I agree that we want to be the ones to talk to our kid about things like that. I'm trying to keep it really simple, just so we don't have to get too crazy about it, because there's nothing to get crazy about. It's just, it really is that simple. I think I just have a bigger perspective on this now, being a parent, than I did maybe 2 months ago. So, you know, the video bothered me, right? And that's I just don't think it's any place for a teacher or a school. I don't think it's the place to speak about things like that. And it's not that I think that it shouldn't be spoken about. If that's what you got from that tweet, then you're just wrong. I don't have any quarrel with anybody in here. I don't have any quarrel with people on the internet. It wasn't an anti, I guess, gay tweet. That wasn't what it was. Now listen, if you have issues with me or if you have issues with that tweet, then hey, listen, I'm down to agree to disagree. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But if you think that I hate you because you're a certain way, you just couldn't be any more wrong. That's not the truth. I've said things in my past. I've done things in my past. We all have. Okay. People grow. People get better. It's part of life, man. Okay. And I've grown a lot as a human being. I'm sure we all have. Okay. I do not feel that way. I just simply feel that I want to be the one and my wife wants to be the one to speak with our child about stuff like that. And that was the tweet. That was the tweet. You can take the tweet if you want and you can spin it, flip it, flop it, quote tweet it. You can put 10 paragraphs on top of it. You can do whatever you want to it to make you feel better if that's what you want to do. But that was the tweet. Okay. So if you came here to hear that, I hope you feel a little better about it. I didn't mean to upset anybody. I know that I did. I'm not apologizing about the tweets. I don't feel like it's wrong. I'm gonna stand by what I said. I'm not gonna delete the tweet. You know, I just want to make sure everybody understands exactly the point I was trying to make by tweeting my response. You know, and I do want to apologize to Puckett though. I feel like I might have brought a little bit of shit his way, man. I didn't mean to do that. Like I'm saying, man, I look down that little homie in the other room in there, but it's my whole world now. You know. It's a different perspective. I know a lot of you guys know it firsthand, but for those that don't, it's a different perspective.
With him recently becoming a father, this is obviously going to change his perspective a lot on how to run his life, how he operates, and what his opinions and beliefs are. This is something a lot of people cannot relate to, but if you take him at his word, then he's not trying to imply gay people are like creepy or anything like that. He just wants to educate his kids on these issues rather than have them see protest videos and see schools talk about social issues strongly, which honestly, I think is totally fair. But he also makes sure to say that he does not hate anyone based on their identity. I mean, if you think that he's lying, you you can believe that, but at this point, you're just kind of talking to the wind. At the end of the day, all I can do is go off of what he actually said, and I'm inclined to believe his intentions were good, and he seems like a nice dude. Now, I've also seen a bunch of people dig up like 10-year-old tweets from him talking about old political issues. It's clear to me that he probably doesn't feel that way anymore. Even if he does, it's not really related to the issue. So I don't know why you would even bring that up, especially considering it's literally over a decade old. But, you know, that's just how people act in these kind of cancellation type scenarios, right? They dig through everything you've possibly done to find shit you did when you were 10 years younger, a full decade. But yeah, that about wraps up the Nick Mercs situation for now. If there are any more updates, I'll be sure to cover them. But as far as I can tell, it's a cut and dry situation with a lot of misinterpretations due to the negative social climate around this issue. But it seems pretty just like kind of a nothing burger to me in terms of what he actually said. That being said, the reaction has been totally overblown, and it sucks that it got to this point. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike, and drop a comment down below with your thoughts on everything. It's always good to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. Be sure to follow my Instagram at TomButDark, as well as my friend's Twitter at AnonBird with 2 Ds. AnonBird double D for all my double D fans out there. And I'll see you all in the next video with Mr. Beast and PewDiePie. We're going to be collabing next video. Yup. Just subscribe, guys. It's coming real fucking soon. Bye.